And that all starts from leadership. I mean, to become the GM, your determination and your drive and your grit is tremendous. That's why you were able to beat out and go past everybody to get to where you are. But think about the thousands that you saw fall by the wayside. Think about the hundreds that you saw in management positions at other stores, and you said, how the hell did this person get that? Bidenomics came through and completely rocked the automotive industry. And man, there are stores out there that are winning consistently, and there are some that are literally getting ready to fire their entire upper management team, or are even a step away from having to sell the store due to lack of production, poor profit margins, and high turnover. And in this video, if you are a owner of a dealership, managing partner, general sales manager, general manager, anyone that's in leadership, then this is extremely relevant to you. Because look at what's going on with high inflation. Customers are extremely scared, nervous, but at the same time, they rely on reliable transportation to be able to get them to and from their place of business, to be able to get their family, friends, whoever it is that travels with them to and from their destinations safely. And even more so than now, people want to make sure that they're holding on to those jobs that they have, and they can't risk missing it due to a poor transportation problem. So they're coming into the store and they're wanting to buy. Right now, the average new vehicle cost runs anywhere between $48,000, $49,000. $48,000, $49,000. And with interest rates kind of still being unstable and fairly high right now, a lot of stores are seeing a decrease in their bottom line. And you see it. I see it online all the time. And I know why people do this. They'll post, yeah, we did 150 sales this month, 220 sales this month. And you're looking at them post on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on Instagram. Next thing you know, in a month or so, they're gone. And you say, what in the world? How did they get fired? They were killing it. They were posting that they were doing 150, 200. Yes, their volume of sales was hitting the target number that was forecasted. But there's another component to that, and that's the back end. And there are a lot of people that champion and parade the front end volume sales, but on the back end, that's forecasted too. They missed the mark horrifically. So what is it that your store can do that other stores are doing that are winning? One thing that I'm asked to focus on in all of the dealerships that I work with who consistently meet or exceed their profit margins, sometimes their volume sales may be a little low, but their margin are lower than what they wanted to be, but their margins always meet or exceed. And what they have me focus on when I come in every month or every other month is focusing on, number one, how to present leasing, how to educate customers on leases. And something that you may know or be unfamiliar with is that I would say 8 out of 10 sales reps that work at a dealership have no idea what the benefits are of a lease, how to present a lease in a value-driven way, and how to help educate, coach a customer into being not only just being open to a lease, but being willing to invest and drive one home. Most salespeople are terrified of leases because they think it's this super complicated thing, and it's really not. And it requires management to do a little bit more. And at your store, listen, you all may do an awesome job at training your salespeople. You may have a staff member that every week pulls people off the floor, sits them in a room, and actually goes through skill building and role plays and whatnot. I'm sure your store may do it. Because let me tell you something, the stores that don't, that feel like they don't have the time to pull people off, they don't have the manpower to be able to train and educate their people, and they're expecting them to do it on their own time. Newsflash. Today, most salespeople, you have to be on their ass for them to even shoot a selfie video doing a walk around on a vehicle to promote it on social media. That's only 1 minute long, let alone them actually sitting down, listening or reading something, or heaven forbid, going in their pocket to invest in something that's going to make their skills better. That is not going to happen, especially doing it in their time away from the dealership. We know that that's not going to happen. But here's what happens. When they are in the store, they want to either try to work on whatever new thing you told them on spot with an opportunity on the line, or they'll completely ignore it and run away from it as fast as they can. And right now, this year, trending in 2023, 21% of new vehicle sales are going to come from leases. So that means 1 out of every 5 customer is either coming in and is willing to drive home in a lease, whether they know it or not, or is interested in a lease, intentionally or unintentionally. 1 in 5. And if your sales reps aren't equipped, if your salespeople are not comfortable with presenting a lease, that is a huge opportunity for margins right there. And I don't have to tell you all of the value that comes along with leases. You know, the fact that your customers take advantage of a lease as far as for your store, number one, that's immediate revenue that you bring into your store. With the lease, when they put those up front, those down payments, those initial investments down, that's immediate cash to the store. Number two, you get the residuals. Okay, you have the residuals on the deal. And then lastly, you have the increase in service and maintenance, because on leases, it's recommended that they get maintenance every, whether it be 60 days, 90 days, depending on what it is. And guess where they bring that vehicle for the maintenance? And not only that, employee morale, the fact that as opposed to letting this customer walk out the door, this sales rep was still able to get a sale on the books for themselves. They were still able to help somebody make a smart, safe buying decision, and they were still able to earn money doing the same exact thing, just with a different understanding of what's going on, which is the lease versus the purchase. Now, ask yourself this question. When was the last time you actually just stopped one of your sales reps and asked them, what do you know about lease? Give me the benefits for a customer on being able to get a lease, and see what they say. And even deeper than that, if you are in ownership or upper management, ask your managers, what's the benefit of a lease? Ask them to present a lease to you. See, there are many stores that I'm in that for years, the reason why they crush it, the reason why their turnover is substantially lower than the industry standard, because the industry standard right now, as far as for the automotive industry, let me see here. Let me go here and pull this up. According to Auto Remarketing, is about 67. Let me put it up full so you can see it. It's about 67%. 67%. So that's almost 7 out of 10 people that are coming in or walking out. And guess what? It is costing dealerships an average of $10,000 per new hire. $10,000 per new hire. So what that means is that if you hire 10 people at your dealership, okay, 10, you hire 10 people at your store. Let me put this like this. 10 people at your store, just 10, at an average of $10,000 per hire. They haven't done anything else, just that. That is a minimum of $100,000 that you're looking at investing right there, right there. And let's take it even deeper than that, okay? You're investing $100,000 just if you only hire 10 people in 1 year. That is $100,000 that's going out. Cool. And let's say that these 10 people only help 10 customers. The entire time they're at your store, they only help 10 people. So that's 10 sales reps helping 10 customers. That's 100 people total that your staff would have helped. And let's just say your store runs, and I'm going to be I'm going to go low, I'm going to lowball it. Let's say your store is averaging $1,000 a copy. $1,000 a copy. So you got 100 potential customers and a potential $1,000 copy. Guess what? And they blow those 10 out of there. Each one was in front of 10 people that left. That's another $100,000. So that's $200,000 that is invested in just hiring 10 people in 1 year, period. And that's with them just being in front of 10 customers that left your store and didn't buy. Now, ask yourself this question. Based on those numbers that I gave, does your store hire more than 10 people a year? 9 times out of 10, it does. Does your new hires have more than 10 people that are blown out without buying? I'm almost 100% sure that they have. So that's $200,000 right there that's walking out the dealership, right there. Right there. And so what's happening is that JM&A, they did a study. And what JM&A found out is that, and what I find too, just being out and about, is that stores that are winning have really honed in on training for their team. And I'm not talking about that type of training where, it's a Monday, it's a morning meeting. The morning meetings typically last 30 minutes to an hour. And within that, somebody says, hey, listen, while we're out there, let's offer leases and make sure we're having a positive attitude and yada, yada. What is that? That is not training. That is not helping to load the lips of your sales associates who have to go out there and interact with these customers. And again, it goes back to, in a lot of situations, and I see them firsthand, in a lot of situations, the reason why the sales reps struggle at presenting leases or are terrified and intimidated by leases is because the management doesn't know how to effectively present a lease. The management is intimidated by it. So as opposed to actually showing this rep how to do it and what to say, they're saying, hey, go say this without any proof of concept of whether what it is that they're saying or telling them to do will work. So when the sales rep goes out there, especially when they're new and they're following and listening to what that manager said, and they go out there and say it and they do that and it doesn't work, as opposed to the manager saying, let me see and make sure that what I share with them is effective. Da, da, da. Oh, no, you didn't say what I said, or you just suck and you couldn't do it. As opposed to realizing, no, dude, what you told me is out of date and it wouldn't have worked with anybody. Matter of fact, what are you basing this response on? Where you didn't speak to this person, none of this. And it's almost like the blind leading the blind. Another real funny thing that I see is that when I hear a dealership bring up the name Grant Cardone to me, I laugh. Grant Cardone hasn't been involved in the automotive industry for almost 30 years. He was a trainer and whatnot in it, but he hasn't been around it for years. And I'm not sure when the last time many of these upper managers or owners have sat down and actually watched and listened to a Grant Cardone automotive sales training tape or CD or live stream or a stream on the internet relevant to automotive sales. There's no way in the world that this rep could say that to a customer and not have the person walk out or write a negative review. So what type of tools are we actually giving our people? What type of tools are we giving our soldiers to go out into the battlefield with? If we're giving them muskets in a modern day type of a fight, they're going to get obliterated when everybody else has automatics and semi-automatic. At the end of the day, winning stores are literally loading the lips of their salespeople. They're training them on presenting leases, building value with customers, qualifying effectively, not just during a 30-minute or hour-long meeting. There are stores who on a weekly basis, from seasoned sales rep that's selling 30 a month, all the way down to the green pea who hasn't sold one yet. Everybody has got to spend 2 to 3 hours on a weekly basis in training at that store on site on a specific skill or aspect of the process to improve. One example that I do with different dealerships as far as on product knowledge and becoming more familiar with that, we have demo contests every month. You have a demo contest, and it's something that everybody can win because it's on a point scale. And the higher the points you get, if you hit the certain number, you get your certificate for a job well done that you can hang up right there in your office or right in your cubicle, showing your customer that you're somebody that takes what you do serious and is highly effective at your work. But this type of thing is also translated into the process. Have lease presentation contests. Give people awards for whoever is able to sell or offer the most or present and get people to buy the most leases. Because at the end of the day, yeah, a sale is a sale and a deal is a deal. Our objective is to be able to slang metal, okay? Help customers make a smart and safe buying decision. But the only way that that is done is when the salespeople are given the tools. I've seen stores that have hired people and told them they're going to be trained. They have all of this opportunity to make money, and they literally bring them in, sit them in front of a computer, make them go through a few computer modules, and then throw them out there to the wolves. And yes, this is an adult. And yes, we do expect them to be confident and be out and go out and be competent. But they put their life on the line and trusted us with their livelihood. They say, you know, I want to take care of myself and my family, and I want to use this to do it. And if you tell me that I can achieve certain things here, cool, I'm with it. Just tell me the rules, give me the parameters, and let me play. So owners, general managers, when was the last time that you've had your management sit down and role play with you? When was the last time you've tested their skills? I guarantee you, you will be blown away if you sit your management team down and you hit them with certain objections, or you had them present you with a lease option. You'd be blown back, because here's what I see happens. By the time the general manager finds out, or the managing partner finds out, that the management team that they had working with them was ineffective or inefficient, is when they're getting walked out the door. And that all starts from leadership. I mean, to become the GM, your determination and your drive and your grit is tremendous. That's why you were able to beat out and go past everybody to get to where you are. But think about the thousands that you saw fall by the wayside. Think about the hundreds that you saw in management positions at other stores, and you said, how the hell did this person get that? Because they were the best of the worst that was over there. It happens a lot. So everybody isn't as driven. Everybody isn't as motivated as you, especially when you look across that sales floor. Many of those people came in and are working there because they were looking for a job and you were hiring, not because they had any desire or any drive to be in sales. Of course, they all say that during the interview. Oh, I've just dreamed of selling cars my whole life. Yeah, right. You started dreaming of selling cars when you got fired from that last job and that rent was coming up. That's the real. But for whatever reason, they're there. And let's think about this. In our everyday life, the way we interact, the way we communicate, and the way we deal with people in our everyday life is one thing. But how we interact with people in a professional setting is completely different. So when I go to stores and we're doing our secret shopper and we're just kind of watching the way it lays out, they want me to come in and work and train, but we need to know what's really happening before we get there. So we get our secret shoppers to go out there. And the management team is just totally embarrassed because they had no idea what was happening. Because if you'd have walked in and said, hey, you guys need any help with your developing your salespeople? Oh, no, our salespeople know what's going on. They get it, man. Yeah, they stay in the process. We do a secret shopper out there. And out of the 10 steps, they're hitting maybe 3. And they're hitting the 3 very weak. And then they're finding out, oh, so this is why so many people are leaving. So this is why we are unable to hold margins on the deals. This is why this customer never came back to our store. They even go get his service someplace else. Yeah, it all starts. And it's not that the sales rep is trying to be that way. They just don't know how to be anything else. So right now with Bidenomics going on, and it's affecting every aspect of our lives, but I'm going to keep it straight at the dealership and selling vehicles. These people are still buying. Walmarts aren't closed. Amazon Prime is still delivering. Netflix still has people subscribed. Amazon Prime, Hulu, all those people are still subscribed to that. So guess what? It's not that people aren't spending money. They're just more specific on where they're spending their money. You have to increase the value proposition to motivate them to want to invest their money. And I know you and I both know that, but how do we get our salespeople to translate that? And it boils down to making sure that we are literally providing them with the tools to be able to help. And as much as, I love working with dealerships, and of course, I love being paid to do it. But obviously, my company, my team, and I are unable to be everywhere all the time. And there's a lot of great people out there, but here's the kicker. If your biggest concern is man, how do I know if I bring this person in, they're going to be able to help my team? Number one, anybody that you consider to be bringing in should be somebody that you've watched, you've listened to, and that you vetted. Not somebody that just jumps on the internet and says, hey, I'm great and do this. No, you actually hear the word tracks that they share. You actually see proof of them working with other dealerships, because so many folks jump online saying, I'm this coach and I'm that trainer. But if you go check they have no YouTube pages. And if you go to their profile, there's no footage, no videos of them ever training or doing anything with anybody. They're always sitting somewhere just talking, but they're never in a store. You have to say, do I really want to be the first person to invest in that? Probably not. But when you find somebody that has a passion, when you see somebody that's out here being booked and brought into stores to work with their people, when you see folks that are acknowledging this person as well done, somebody that can present to you and say, hey, listen, With this particular dealer group, we were able to increase sales and increase margin by 32% within 90 days, leveraging this. Tell me what issue you're having, and let's work together to create a customized training program that is going to help your team succeed. Another thing that they do is they realize it is not a one and done. You and I both know, and if you're unfamiliar with this, let me tell you something. As someone who was on that sales floor of the showroom, most managers and dealerships, they institute some new thing, and the salespeople literally sit around and wait for it to just phase out. Hey, they're not going to follow up on it. We'll probably never see that trainer again, so why listen to them? The ones that are winning, number one, is consistency and repetition. And here's what happens when your team sees, A, that you're making an investment for their benefit, and then B, you're bringing in somebody that is relatable to them for their benefit, and they see it happening consistently, they begin to buy in. And when they buy in, Katie bar the door, because it is on. And I see and work with teams where everyone is bought in. These stores' reputation in their community is amazing. Their customer loyalty base is tremendous. And their volumes and their margins always are on point. And the ones that I see that are always like this, they got a new sales manager in every 6 months. They got a new GM in the store every 18 months or every, year and a half, 18 months or 2 years. The salespeople literally just sit, look at the calendar, and just wait it out because they know what's going to happen. And if you are new in that general manager seat, please know this. The average turnaround time for general managers in present day is about 18 to 24 months. And that's just on average. Those are ones that come in, didn't set the world on fire, didn't burn the store down, just kind of kept the status quo. They'll be gone in about 18 months. Obviously, the ones that come in and tank a lot faster will be gone a lot faster. And those that come in and are consistently building, they tend to stay a lot longer. Because here's what I find. Most stores that are dealerships or dealer groups that have promoted the general manager from within, they give them a lot more leeway to grow into the position. But once you lose that first spot, that those first group of people that believe in you to be that GM, when you leave that store and you go to another store, that rope gets a lot shorter because there is no loyalty built in there. There is no history there. As a matter of fact, they're looking for you to come in and undo and fix what the last person did without you even knowing what you're walking into. So when you're going into these stores, I highly recommend the very first, one of the very first things you do after you check your situation out and see what's going on. But when it's time to get into how do we make this a more fine-tuned machine, spend time with each sales rep and find out what's really going on within that store and on the floor. And if they won't tell you, who does know, the receptionist knows. But even outside of that, key in on identifying what is specifically important to each one of them, making sure they either write it out or print it out, and then doing whatever has to be done training-wise to help your team fix or hit whatever goals that your store is after. If you know you're doing poorly on leases, then your training should be focused on educating your people to take advantage of the lease opportunity. If it's on helping your sales reps be able to sell and close cash deals that are more beneficial for the consumer's pocket, then educate them on that. If it's building value to be able to hold more gross in your new car or in your pre-owned deals, focus on that. If it's converting more leads, more internet leads, focus on that. Whatever it is, there is no one size fits all. It has got to be specific. And any trainer that speaks to you and you talk to them and they say, well, yeah, I definitely know I can come in there and I can fix your situation, is lying to you. Because how can they fix what they don't even know about? I would love to tell every dealership and every dealer group that I have the answer to all the problems and I can come in there and take all of their sales to the next level. Now, I'd like to believe that, but without me knowing what's going on, without me having the information, I'd be doing them a disservice and setting myself up to disappoint a potential customer. I'm not going to do that. One thing I will promise is that we do our due diligence and I do everything I can to learn as much as I can about what's going on and tailor the training to fit specifically for the needs of that store and for that team. And am I the cheapest person in the industry? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, a lot of these fly-by-night places are charging super low prices. They're over-promising and under-delivering, and putting a bad taste in the mouths of ownership and upper leadership. And then you have some that are charging astronomical prices and producing absolutely nothing. Again, there is no one size fits all. And what you need for your store may be something that is simple. What you require for your store to succeed may be something complex. But at the end of the day, one thing I can assure you is that anybody worth their weight is going to work with the members of your team to make sure that what is being fed and what is being provided and presented to your team is effective, it's efficient, and it will increase productivity. So right now, the lowest hanging fruit are the leases, are the cash deals. And the other fruit that is food that's on the table is just helping the sales reps learn what sales is really about. A lot of salespeople think sales is about the gift of gab, and it's really not. You and I both know it's about the gift of listening. Good salespeople practice what to say, while the great ones practice what to ask. And so when was the last time that you've actually heard your people perform and present? Not just the sales reps, your managers. When was the last time you had someone come in and actually train and work with your managers? And I get it. A lot of stores say, oh, we just don't have the time. We don't have the time. We don't have the time. Oh, or we don't want to spend the money. Guess what? You're spending the money anyway in losses. And if you don't have the time today, eventually, if things keep going in a downward trajectory, eventually you'll have more than enough time to be able to work on the skills that you want to improve, or you have more than enough time to think about helping how you should have helped people improve the skills that they should have improved. And this is one of those things. I have the utmost respect for owners of dealerships, for general managers, for managing partners, for general sales managers. I have respect for everybody, but I'm only talking specifically in leadership of dealerships. But one thing I will say about our industry, it is heavily ego driven. It really is. And a lot of times people don't drop the ego until they don't have a choice but to drop it. Like I say, there could be a general manager of a store that we could reach out to and be extremely polite, but is a straight jerk for no reason. Listen, man, if you don't feel you need it, that's fine, but all the extra stuff is unnecessary. And literally will have the audacity to send me a message on LinkedIn asking me to help them be hired by one of the many dealer groups I work with, which is why, the people that you deal with on the way up, be very careful how you treat them, because on the way down, you just might need them. But as far as for this particular video, leasing, if there's anything I can suggest for your store that can help your people, help your bottom line, help your customers, and help your dealership maintain and increase profits, it will be keying in on training your sales reps on how to present leases and on making sure that they're doing the best they can to increase the value in the purchases that your customers are making. Man, when we do secret shoppers, you would trip out. You know how many times we've had a customer that is really interested in buying on the lot of a dealership. The sales rep comes out, doesn't ask their name. Sales rep never invites them inside. The sales rep immediately starts talking about the price and how easy it is for them to buy it, and asking them, do they want them to go get the keys? And nobody inside is the wiser of what's really happening out here. And I don't know how much you spend on marketing, but imagine the amount of money it took to get that customer just to show up on your lot. Because nobody is the mighty Oz and knows everything that's going on, which is why the people we hire, character is not what we do when people are watching us, it's what we do when nobody's around. And a lot of times it's the hiring decisions that are being made that are flawed. It's like when I do hiring for a dealership, I've been in there, and one of the things that we do is when I'm speaking to a person, I don't ask them anything about what they did at their last place of business, besides what the tasks were and what the duties entailed as far as selling and yada, yada. But you know why I stay away from that? Because why I don't go deep into that? Because there are people out here that's called professional interviewers. They've been on so many. They got the nice looking resume. They know the right thing to say. They got the right clothes on. Think about how many times you've interviewed somebody and said, oh, we got one. He or she is awesome. This is a new rock star. And they come in and blow out within a month. Why? Because this is what they do. They're great at interviewing. Matter of fact, while you were interviewing them, they had interviews scheduled for the next week in case they don't like what they just interviewed with you for. But then there's something that I call the it factor. And the it factor has nothing to do with appearance. The it factor has nothing to do with gender. The it factor has nothing to do with age. The it factor has everything to do with internal determination. You see, I found that I've taken a landscaper or a roofer who has worked in the hot Florida sun, putting hot tar on roofs, that knows what a hard day's work is. And this person is just determined to take care of their family. They're so determined that they'll stand on a hot roof in 95-degree weather with hot tar to make sure this house is beautiful and done to take care of their family. Now, you take a person with that type of drive and will, and you put them in an air-conditioned environment where they can not only make the money that they were making before, but they can far exceed it. And all they have to do is follow these steps. If you give that person a roadmap and you give them the tools, they'll run through a wall for you. But then you can take other people who have worked these customer service and these types of jobs inside call centers their whole career. And at the first sign of trouble, they tuck tail and they run it. At the first sign of adversity, they're quitting on you. So when it comes to the interview process, that has got to even be a lot more detailed, a lot more specific. Like, this is what we do. I played my game as far as on the sales floor over 20 years ago, played that game at a high level at my Coggins Chevy stores and at the other stores I worked at until I sold my way out and began to be sought out by dealerships to come in and train their people to do what they knew I was doing. And now it's evolved into where, over a decade later, I own a training company. I have people that go out and work with dealerships. I go out and I train at dealerships, and it has evolved. And so I know, and I was probably one of the worst salespeople that a dealership could have. Was a former college athlete who had champagne taste but a beer work ethic, who thought sales was about the gift of gab and didn't realize sales was about the gift of listening. And also who always looked for the path of least resistance back then, as opposed to looking at that obstacle and realizing that it's nothing more than the seed of opportunity that have been put there for my development, for my progress. Okay, that was the difference. And so understanding that mentality, when I'm sitting down and I'm interacting with people, or I have one of my folks in the store and we're interviewing and interacting with people, the things we look at and look for are a lot deeper. We look for intention. Try to find out, identify certain character traits, certain personality qualities that winners within this industry exude. Not so much a look, not so much a gender, but a feel. But we have the time to be able to screen through and to be able to sit there and have those 20, 30, 45-minute, hour-long conversations with a candidate that may be coming in your store. When we're hiring management for a dealership, when a dealer group says, Brian, we need a GSM, we need a sales manager, we need a GM. One of the things that we have them do that I think is far more important than anything their resume could say is that when you're coming into that store and you're going to be on that desk and you're going to be running that team, guess what? As opposed to telling us how good you are, why don't you show us? Hey, next deal we get, hey, why don't you hang out for a while? Next deal we get, why don't we have John go out there, sit on that and see what it is that he can do, or see what it is that she can do, that Paula can do. Because people say, oh, I'm a great closer, and I'm this, I'm that, and my team, and I ran this, and I have my team doing it. Then you sit them down in front of a guest, and they're a dud. When was the last time on interviews you had somebody actually attempt to help a customer and convert it to a deal? When was the last time you hit one of them with an objection to see how they rebutted it and how they overcame it? Imagine if the hiring decisions for management was based on that. Man, pickings will be slim, but efficiency will be high. Imagine if that person whose efficiency is high is the direct link to our sales reps. is the one. Like, when you and being in management or ownership, you always got that one person at the store, maybe two, who are doing fairly well. They're consistent. They're considered top producers. And when it comes to training, they're like, oh, what can anybody teach me? Nobody can teach me anything. Da 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 da. And so I've seen it where management is intimidated by their own sales reps, or they'll make everybody train and do this thing, but those one or two people, they're afraid to say anything to them because they're nervous that they'll leave. So they're held hostage by those sales reps. When I see that situation, I love it and I lick my chops, because the very first thing when I come in, I already know that the sales team and the management team, outside of the owners who have hired me to come in, or the general manager or managing partner who have requested that I be there, who have paid for me to come in there, they're happy. But for everybody else, they might be saying, oh, who is this guy? Who's this guy I think he is? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so one of the first things I do is, I introduce myself, but we're going to get into some role plays because, I may learn something from you good folks here. And who knows, you all just might learn a little bit from me, but, anybody's guess right now. But I want to role play, and I'm going to be the sales rep, and I would like you to be my customer. And guess who that is? That top producer. And I want them to come on up front with me, and I'm going to be the sales rep. And we're going to set this whole thing off by asserting, here's why I'm here. And I can tell you till I'm blue in the face. And I'm dark skinned, so for me to turn blue in the face, that's a lot of shit talking. I can show you better than I can tell you. Let's sit down and let's get out and let's go. Once I finish that very first role play with the quote unquote big dog, everybody else falls in line. And I have the utmost respect of that rep, which means that once the big dog is in line, all the puppies are easy to deal with. And from that point on, we have a respect. And when I come out and we work, they listen and they apply. Why? Because I'm not just some person walking in saying, you suck, you should be doing this. No, listen, I don't want to tell y'all doing anything wrong. Why don't we do this? Why don't I be the customer? Be the sales rep. You be the customer. We'll role play it out. And let's just take it from there. And the only reason I'm doing it is to assert and show everybody in that room why I'm there. Is because I'm one of the best in the business at what it is that I do. And I state that confidently, even as I make this video. I'm more than willing to accept a challenge from anybody in this industry to go shot for shot to test our skill set. But that's how we should be. Matter of fact, every member of your management team should feel like that and should be like that. And if they not, then you may need to be considering who you have working with your team. If your management team doesn't have that confidence that they're a lion, that they're a big dog, and if you ain't playing, if you're not coming to get out, stay your puppy ass on the porch. If they don't have that mentality, imagine how that's translating down to the team, especially in today's economic climate. So back to the topic at hand, with Bidenomics slamming in and rocking automotive industry, make sure your sales reps understand how to present a lease. Make sure that they understand the benefits and the value of it to a customer. Make sure that they see and understand the benefits and the value of it to them. As a matter of fact, a news report was just done. Check this out.
$1,000. So it's no wonder leasing this year will account for 21% of new.
Let me take it back. My bad.
The average price of a new car is over $48,000. So it's no wonder leasing this year will account for 21% of new vehicle sales.
I think people prefer to lease out a car versus purchasing a new one because they always have the latest technology and the newest models.
And comparing to buying new with a loan, leasing a car will lower your bill by an average of $139 a month.
You just have to keep in mind that there are mileage restrictions and potential excess wear and tear charges that could come along with leasing.
So and that was a news report. Leasing is being promoted to consumers as a good thing. It's being suggested and recommended to customers as a good thing. So make sure that you take advantage of it, because 1 in every 5 buyers, 1 in every 5 is going to be leasing. And if your sales associates aren't skilled enough to be able to present that, if your management has not translated that down to your sales rep, you'll be watching money walk out the door and into another dealership where the people have been trained by myself or by somebody like I am, and their sales reps are gobbling it up. Also, building value. So many folks, I hear sales reps say things like, oh, I don't like to take too long when I'm qualifying. What is too long? Wouldn't you agree that however long it takes for that customer to understand or overstand what's going on? And when I say overstand, let me make sure I explain what that means. Words have power. To understand something means that it's over your head. Okay, it means you lack full comprehension. To overstand something means I'm all on top of it. I have full comprehension of everything that's going on. Just in case me saying overstand, I don't want anybody to think it's like standing over and just looking down. And I'm streaming across all these platforms. So just if you know why I'm, speaking and making it relevant, like a little mini narration. But at the end of the day, when it comes to, building the value, establishing quality of service, high levels of customer service, stuff as simple as a sales rep saying, how you doing? Can I help you? Versus saying, hey, welcome to ABC dealership. Those slight variations in greeting make a huge impact on how the process goes. But a sales rep doesn't know what they don't know. So if you're looking to increase that bottom line, look at leasing, cash deals. When you're taking in those pre-owned vehicles, a lot of people are wide open to spending cash deals. I'm not sure how the inventory, that inventory can fluctuate from store to store, but cash deals is another big one. But leasing, building value in the product or service and justifying the price point with the customer, cash deals, training, all of these aspects mixed together in a pot like gumbo make out for the best protection that you have for your dealership and for your customers against Bidenomics. It is not the end. It is completely the beginning, but it requires us to be able to find the silver lining in all of this chaos. And they are there. There are very strong revenue opportunities still available. And as interest rates kind of balance out, guess what? PVR is going to go back up. So VSCs are gonna continue to increase. So just keep plugging. But more than anything else, focus your team on leasing. Focus your team on spending more time building value if you haven't already. And if you're listen, I would appreciate the opportunity to come in, learn more about what's going on with your team, and see what it is that I can do to help. If you've been following me on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, /X, on LinkedIn, any of these platforms, then you've seen for years I've been working with different dealerships and dealer groups. And for years, I've been helping people's productivity on their sales side, helping their margins increase, helping reduce turnover, because I give a damn. And one thing I can guarantee you is this. My biggest priority is helping your salespeople become sales professionals. And whatever vehicle we have to use to get them there, legally, ethically, and morally, we're going to do it. And so if you've considered having somebody come in to help your team learn how to present and sell leases, how to present and sell pre-owned vehicles, how to hold more margin and build value in the product, in the vehicles that you're offering at your store, how to be able to establish a better and stronger working trust with your guests, how to qualify more effectively, how to present the vehicle and do a dynamic walk around, how to follow up, how to sell the store. If you've been considering all of these things, how to make phone calls and prospect and set better appointments and get appointments to show up. If these are things that have concerned you, whether it be one, if not all, send me a message. You send me a message on LinkedIn. You can send me a message on through my direct email address. And as a matter of fact, let me put that up here right now. You can send me a direct message to my email, which is brian@brianmaxwell.net. So it's brian@brianmaxwell.net. brian@brianmaxwell.net, or you can give me a call. You can reach me at 904-438-8556. Either which way. Let's stop walking over the dollars to pick up dimes. And I highly encourage you to treat your store, treat your salespeople, treat your customers. Don't cheat them. Let's work together and see what we can do to put some hustle behind that muscle and help your salespeople perform like sales pros. Other than that, I just wanted to dive in and really go over, I see what Bidenomics is doing. I see how it's impacting stores, and there's still opportunity there. So make sure you lock in with your team members. Make sure that you are constantly testing the skill set of your management team. And other than that, hopefully you and I get a chance to speak in the near future. And I'm Brian Maxwell, and I look forward to seeing you at the dealership, y'all. I'm out this thing. I'll see y'all next time.